So I was in school when I signed the contract with Irati. So at least graduating, I had a job waiting for me in Minnesota. So Lynne and I went for a honeymoon to Tanglewood. I was going to study with principal viola of the Boston Symphony, not having had much tutorial in the viola department. And the families got together enough money to pay for Lynne, my first wife, to sign up at Tanglewood for an opera stage directing program for the summer. And I did orchestra and chamber music, and Lynne studied with the famous Boris Goldovsky, opera conductor. Well, it was a wonderful summer for me to play in the Tanglewood orchestra and playing an audition for a very famous chamber music player, William Kroll, who years before had had his own string quartet. I was scared to death because I still couldn't read the clef. And he took me through my paces and asked me to play a 3-octave scale in C sharp minor. And I didn't even know where the C string was on the viola, much less play a scale. I never played a scale in my life, much to the shock of all colleagues who ever figured that out. So I tried to play something resembling a scale, and I remember Kroll saying to me, "What was that?" It wasn't a scale because I'd never played a scale. He said, "Can't you play a C sharp minor scale?" I said, "No, I don't play scales." He said, "You don't play scales? That's like a slap in the face to an old-time musician. It's just not done." So I left that audition. That was for placement at Tanglewood. I had already gotten into Tanglewood, but just generally getting in, you had to be placed in the orchestra. So I held my breath till they posted the place seatings in the office prior to the first rehearsal. And there's Alan Iglitzin, solo viola placement. Shocked me to death. And Kroll's daughter was my partner. She was a violist also. Well, I had to play one incidental solo from Lieutenant Kijé suite of Prokofiev. And boy, was I scared, because I didn't really feel like a violist yet, even though people seemed to regard me as one. I was really shaking at the knees, with Leonard Bernstein next to me on the podium. So there I am, 2 feet away or 3 feet away from Leonard Bernstein, the legendary young American genius musician. So I'm thrilled to death to be playing with him, as it happens for the second time, because in my senior year at Music and Art High School, Lenny Bernstein had done a visitation to the school, the famous High School of Music and Art. So I played with him as a senior in Music and Art High School, and then not very much longer am I playing with him as a professional in the Tanglewood Festival Orchestra. Thrilling for me. And then I played subsequently with him in Minneapolis and in Philly when he came as guest conductor. So that's my history with Lenny, as we call him, to his face. The first conductor that you could actually call like a person, not maestro, which the old-timers insisted on. And Lenny was just a good old American kid who happened to be brilliant talent, most brilliant we ever produced in America. So he was a regular guy. You could ask him a question and say, "Lenny, what's that note before let it be," or something? You'd never do that with an Normandy or a Stokowski or Toscanini or a Klemperer. They were just maestro. Although I never used that word once in my career, I just couldn't do it. Pay that much respect to these guys who were just pains in the butt to me, for the most part. Although Lenny was a great guy.